All right, good morning, good morning. Hope you are well, wherever you are, whatever the damn time. 97.3 kilos this morning, and yeah, definitely a lot fuller. I can definitely see that I'm holding a little bit more water, but the physique overall just looks so much better. And I knew that I was going to wake up heavier this morning, but a big jump. It's from 96 to 97.3, so 1.3 kilos overnight. So I'm going to have confidence that I can have another day of pushing fullness. So I'll see how things go across today. As I mentioned last night, I'll essentially keep to the same food, but then just ensure that my body weight lands at around the 99 kilo mark before I go to bed. So somewhere between like 99 and 99.7 or 8. As long as I'm going to bed around there, I'll be absolutely fine with that because I know that I'm going to drop just over 2 kilos overnight. So if I can go to bed around there, perfect. Fullness I'm happy with in the 97s, to be honest. And then I'll be more than content with having that wash off day tomorrow. I think that'll just give me a little bit more confidence because even if I flatten off a touch Saturday morning, I can always just put in more food, which was one of the mistakes that I made for my first show. It was just on show day not putting in enough food. But I'm really happy with the fullness that's coming along now. So yeah, I can't complain. This morning we have the food shop that's going to go down. And then I also need to do an upper body session today, which is just going to be like a pump session just to see what I look like with a pump. Obviously, I'm going to be pumping up backstage. So that's going to give me a decent idea as to what I'll look like with food in me and pumped up and whatnot. So there's that. And also going to shave today as well. So start the process of getting my skin prepped for the tan, which will also probably apply just the first coat or two today, just so that there's something on my body. I'll shower tomorrow morning. And then we'll just reapply the tan again on Friday and then top up anything we need to on Saturday. The reason I'll start the tan today is more so just that if I do need to make any adjustments, I haven't left it last minute to be like, oh God, we need a lot more, but we just haven't got time. So a bit of a pamper day. Oh, I've also got to get my hair braided today. So getting the old barnet sorted today as well. In terms of the game plan, as I said, food's going to stay the same for now, but if I feel like I'm creeping up to that 100 kilo mark prior to going to bed or before I have that last meal, I'll just drop the food down a little bit more and then go from there. But as I said, a lot fuller today. I'm actually 2.1 kilos heavier than what I was on my last show day or my first show day. So yeah, very interesting. Steps are gonna stay the same, 7.5. Water is also gonna stay the same. No changes to sodium. So yeah, all of that is gonna remain exactly the same today. But I'm gonna have meal one, which will be the same as meal one from yesterday, which 140 grams of ground rice. We've got 3 rice cakes, 10 grams of honey, 45 grams of whey, 100 grams of berries, along with 20 grams of dark chocolate. I believe that's the entire meal. And then we're going to head out to the food shop. So what I'll do is I'm going to have that meal, go to the food shop, give you a breakdown as to what we're getting because food's going to be a little bit different as I am doing back-to-back peaks. I am erring on the side of, because I'm pushing so much more fullness for this show, going straight back down into depletion or low carbohydrate days, and then honestly just backloading into the next show, backloading into the WMBF show. Anyway, I'll see you once we're getting the food shop done. That's a nice little shot. We're back from M&S because obviously we do our shopping at M&S, as you can see. £97 total. Pepsi Max is back in.
Was an unplugged card today.
Yeah, £11. 11 quid?
50, but for 24 cans, I think that's still good.
Yeah. So I thought I'd show you what we got in the food shop, basically for the rest of this peak. And then also once the show is done, I will be returning back to, I say digging, but it's not really digging. It's just returning back to baseline, which will be about 95, 94 kilos after the show. So that will require obviously not consuming 50,000 rice cakes. Yeah, which is why like potatoes are back in, because once food goes lower, I'd rather use some potatoes instead of rice. I won't be using potatoes instead of rice during the carb up process, because I feel like they just sit a little bit different. Yeah, all the protein sources are still the same. Chicken, mince, the usual, and then yeah, sausages for B. And I've also got some Greek yogurt as well, because again, once I go back to lower food, I'd rather use Greek yogurt than things like chicken, and this obviously provides a bit more volume for once I get a bit hungrier. Honestly, do you know what? There's not really any, oh yeah, squares bars probably for show day if I need a top up. I will be having larger meals. I'll probably have 2 or 3 meals before I step on stage. 3 meals probably before I step on stage. I'll be on stage, yeah, it'll be 3 meals. Because I normally would have had 3 meals by then, to be fair.
Maybe even 4.
No. If I get to the overall, it might be 4.
Yeah, don't underestimate it.
But either way, I have these obviously to top meals up. So I can always add an extra 25 grams of carbs and a little bit of fats from these. And just plain, keeping it simple, as much as I would love to use the cornflake or the caramel chocolate ones, it's just, yeah, a little bit too much fats. So squares bars, easy show day carb top up, and more dark chocolate, thicker dark chocolate as well. Yeah, that's honestly pretty much it. And it was just a huge top up in terms of, I say huge, more rice cakes. Again, just really for the carb up, and if I was to top up on show day as well, that'd make things a little bit more convenient. So time to get my hair done in a few hours, finish editing this video, also put this away, and upper body pump, but that'll be a little bit later on. Anyway, I'm gonna sort this out and I'll see you for meal number 2. Meal 2, you know the deal, same as it has been over the past few days of refeeding. So let's have a look. Chicken, rice, 150 grams uncooked weight rice with 60 grams cooked weight chicken, 15 grams of raisins, 3 rice cakes, 75 grams of broccoli. It's probably going to just end up being the entirety of my vegetables today. 3 grams of salt, same as usual. So the other day I was listening to the Peaking It Real podcast with Tim, Stuart, Jack as well, and really good podcast, by the way. If you haven't listened to it, check it out. But they were talking about the process of peaking, and Tim made a very good point, and it was about using a scale on show day, and he just doesn't use that approach. That's an approach that I used during my first show, because I was like, hey, a good look for me is around 95 kilos, right? But he made a really good point of 95 kilos on show day at this time with these factors, with stress where it is not the same as 95 kilos maybe when you wake up fasted or after a meal or post-training session or whatever the case may be. Body weights are a good gauge. They give you a decent approximation. But I think on the day, on show day, it really just has to be the look. And you just have to assess on the day. I think that's the main thing. And I think that's one of the problems that I faced. It was like, okay, I'm 95 kilos. I don't really need to do anything else. But 95 kilos at 3 p.m. or 4 p.m. is not the same as 95 kilos when you wake up fasted or on another day when stress might not be as low when you're not competing or whatever. So that was a really good point by him. And it was only reiterated when I watched John Jewett's vlog. He put out his Texas Pro vlog. John Jewett, I think, is somebody who has a very similar... I'm going to wait till I finish talking to you that. A very similar issue where I think he comes in flat a lot of the time because he's very on the ball with his conditioning. Don't get me wrong, he's peeled. John Jewett is absolutely dialed in, but he doesn't really push the fullness dial enough, in my opinion. And I think he was aiming for a body weight like 238 pounds, which would have put him apparently fuller than Tampa. which it did initially. But then he realized going from prejudging to finals, he went up to like 242 pounds, and it was his best look. And he mentioned in his video that he needs to improve on his peaking process, just in terms of coming in fuller. And I think that's the main issue, is because using a scale, because he does that as well, he uses a scale on show day. But I think using a scale in those instances is usually going to result in you probably being a bit too flat, or just not having the look that you expect, because circumstances are just so different. So that's definitely something that I've learned just from more experienced coaches, and just learning from mistakes and just ways of refining my own process. I think it's great to use it as a gauge, but just relying on it to be like, I've got this weight, this is the look that this weight is going to give me, could be a little bit silly. Anyway, YouTube video has been edited and uploaded, so I hope you enjoyed that one from yesterday. And we're going to have this meal, do a little bit more work, and then go and get the hair braided. So I'll see you in a bit. So back from getting my hair braided, and just like took so long. Took about 90 more minutes than it should have. Just loads of events, kids kicking off in there, and I got there and they didn't even start my hair until an hour after I got there. So I'm happy with it. I just need a trim, which I'm going to get tomorrow. Luckily, I had my third meal before I left, which was my oats meal. So that was the same meal that I had yesterday, just with 100 grams of oats, the 50 grams of Cocoa Pops, 20 grams of honey, 30 grams of whey, 15 almond butter, 100 blueberries, and then I had a bagel alongside that with 30 grams of jam. So I had that before I left, luckily, so I haven't got to cram in a lot of food, just to help my stomach really have a bit of a break, to be honest. I'm going to have meal 4 just now, and I still need to head to a gym. I'm just going to get a day pass at a local gym, just a Snap Fitness down the road, so I can basically do a pump session. I don't want to travel at this time to EP because the traffic will just be brutal. So yeah, drama, but all good. It's a first world problem. Meal, pump, and then assess whether or not I need a little bit more food. If I do, what I'll probably just do is throw some squares bars with the final meal. This is obviously the initial planned final carb meal. So if I need to put in some carbs, I will, either with squares bars or like Cocoa Pops or something, just before I go to bed, depending on where my body weight is before I eat that last meal. So yeah, this meal is going to be what I've been eating with mince for the past few days, which is 125 grams of rice. We got 60 grams of cooked weight mince, and then 15 grams of raisins for an extra 10 grams of carbs. So that's going to go down a treat, and I will see you for the final meal of the day. Oh yeah, almost forgot. On top of that, we also got to shave and start the tanning process tonight. So, although maybe if we push the time, it might be a case of just shaving and then starting the tan from tomorrow, but we'll see. So let's get this down and then head to the gym. Back from the pump up session in the gym group. So got a day pass there just because it was closer, do you know what I mean? Anyway, genuinely, probably the best I've ever looked. Probably the best pump I've ever got. It's just wild. Wild. Just so full, bursting full. I'll put some photos up here. But honestly, I was looking at myself thinking, oh my God, like, is this what I've done to myself? I'm stuck looking like this. Now it's just a case of really holding it until tomorrow, and then obviously just going through the process of drying out a bit tomorrow. I am going to put carbs into this meal so that I don't go to bed with 0 carbs, because that was obviously the meals that I've been doing the past few days. It's basically been like an egg and bacon medallions. Whereas I'm going to have 3 bacon medallions with this meal. I'm going to add an extra 100 grams of carbs through cream of rice, and also a little bit of fats through dark chocolate as well. So I'm going to add about 10 grams of fats through 25 grams of dark chocolate, 85%, 100 grams of cream of rice, and 10 grams of honey. That's going to be my final meal. We're going to make that. And then also, we still need to shave and tan. So we got the beautician of the household is going to shave me once I've eaten. I didn't want to get back from the gym, not eat, and then eat like really, really close to when I sleep. We'll get this meal in. So yeah, I'm intrigued to see how tomorrow goes, because I think I'll probably wake up heavy, but I've got that time to drop off any water I need to tomorrow. And then obviously I'll be using Peak Max throughout the day as well, just to help with diuresis. So as I said in yesterday's video, the objective with Peak Max is to basically pee a lot more and take off some of that water that you're holding, which is why it doesn't really make sense. So I've got these cream of rice samples and I'm just going to throw them together. It doesn't make sense to use Peak Max whilst you're trying to load carbohydrates. I don't think that makes the most amount of sense. It would make more sense to fill up with the carbs, and then when you want to drive diuresis and take off some of that fluid that you've retained, then you can bring in the Peak Max. Because the Peak Max is essentially there just to help you go through the process of diuresis. That's all it's there to do. There's nothing in there really that's going to help you in terms of gaining more fullness. If anything, it could quite easily flatten you out. So make sure you understand what you're actually putting into your body and the reasoning behind it. Anyway, I'm going to have this meal and then I'll give you a little sneak peek once I've got myself shaved and tanned. Tan is complete, courtesy of Smashed It. First coat is on. So, and yeah, it looks good. It looks very, very good. Dark. So I'm happy with the first coat. Anyway, I'm going to close the video out here, and I'm just excited to see what the look is like tomorrow morning. So yeah, like the video, subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you tomorrow morning.